She would yap at other dogs that invaded her privacy or her space. So, which is totally understandable. I would be the same, you guys. Hola! Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Alejandra, and as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. If you're new here, thank you for being so bold and risky and clicking on this new video. Hope you like it, and I hope that you subscribe and that you become part of this beautiful community that we're starting to grow. Now, aging is a normal part of life. We all know that. And no matter how much we want to delay this process for our dogs, it's something that inevitably they're going to go through before we do, at least in the most part. So I've had two dogs in my life whom I've shared my life with, whom I've grown up with, really. One of them was Brunella. She was with me for 15 years of my life. She sadly passed away 2 years ago. And to this day, I have Poshka with me, this cute little puppy who is here with me, as in all the videos. Say hello, Poshka. Say hello. She's kind of sleepy now. It's kind of her nap time right now. And she's been with me for 8 years now. I was told when I adopted her that she was around about 4. So probably this year she's going to turn 12 years old. And I've started noticing some changes in her as she gets older, some of which are new, some of which I had already seen with Brunella. And I wanted to share these changes with you. So if you yourself have a senior puppy with you, that you can be on the lookout for these changes. Also, so that you can enjoy this stage of their lives with them and really see how they start to evolve. A little disclaimer here, I'm only talking about healthy puppies here. If you do notice some worrisome symptoms in your dog, please turn off this video and go see a vet, okay? So with that said, let's get started. So number one thing that personally I find very heartwarming that happened to both of my dogs, Brunella went through it and now I'm seeing it in Poshka, is that they're asking for a lot more cuddle time. This was kind of normal for Brunella because she was always, I would say, a mama's girl kind of a dog. She was always following me around and wanting to be near me and wanted to cuddle up with me. She would sleep on my neck or sometimes on my head. But it's kind of strange for me to see Poshka this way because she's not that kind of a dog, or she wasn't that kind of a dog. She treasures her space a lot. So she loves being with you, she loves playing with you and cuddling up with you, but at some point she's gonna say, okay, that's enough, let me go over here, I need my space. But now, there's some days where she will literally ask me to carry her, to put her over my chest, and she will sleep on my chest, something that is super unlike her. And she's been doing this more and more. So I'm giving her all the cuddles that she asks for, no questions asked. Number two thing that I've noticed, I haven't seen this in Poshka, but I did see it in Brunella. She actually started to forget things that she had already learned. So this was for 2 specific activities that she had already mastered. One of them was potty training. But then what started to happen was that she wanted to go at the strangest hours, and she would actually go in the house, which was something that she hadn't done since a long time ago. So she started doing this around about the last 2 years of her life. And something that was kind of, that melted my heart was that she would actually get up at like 2 in the morning. She will wake me up and ask her to take her down from the bed, and she would go pee in the house. So it was something that I started to get used to. I actually started to buy these newborn diapers for her, and I would cut out a little hole for her tail and I would put that on so that she could be more calm when she needed to go, because she needed to go like many times throughout the day. The second thing that she started to forget was how to play fetch. Before she would, she had this particular bone that she loved. It was like a red rubber bone about yay big. And she would absolutely love that bone. And she would chase them, and she would chase it and everything. And now what started to happen, like she would chase after the ball or the bone or whatever, but she wouldn't give it back to me, which was again something that she had already learned. So that was where I started to notice, I think my baby girl is getting a little older now. The third thing that I noticed was that they started to lose interest in being social with other dogs. Now, this wasn't very strange for me because my dogs weren't particularly social with other dogs to begin with. They were like the least favorite kind of animal. I don't know why. They wouldn't be aggressive or anything. They would just be like, meh, whatever. Like if you're here, you're not, it really doesn't matter to me. But I did notice an increase of that behavior as the time went by. They would like literally see other dogs and they'd like get away from them. They wouldn't growl, they wouldn't show their teeth or anything, but they would be, just back off, just, let's each other take our separate ways. The fourth thing that I noticed, and I think it really depends on the personality of your dog to begin with, has to do with point number 3, but I do notice that they kind of lose patience with other dogs, especially puppies. So I haven't seen this in Poshka. She's very noble at heart, but Brunella was very much of a, this is my space, don't get under my skin. You really don't want to get under my skin with this. Like again, she wouldn't be aggressive, but she would, she would yap at other dogs that invaded her privacy or her space. So, which is totally understandable. I would be the same, you guys. So, I noticed this with some puppies. I mean, I know all dogs like have to set their boundaries and they yap at each other, like you're crossing a line, stop that. But Brunella did that more often when she became older. So I had this little puppy, 2 puppies came into her life, and they're puppies, they don't know like what the boundaries are yet. So they would go up to her and she would immediately, like she wouldn't even give them a chance, like immediately, just the first time that they ever did that was the last time that they ever did that. So she would immediately yap at them like, don't touch me. You don't know who you're dealing with. And this was something new that I noticed, because she was a patient, but not this much. So be on the lookout for that. The 5th thing that I've noticed, and yes, I'm going like this because I want you to see my nails. Otherwise I would go like this. The 5th thing that you will notice is that your dog, just as older humans do, they start to walk slower and they start to reject doing certain more demanding physical activities. Now, this is a kind of obvious one, but I wanted to mention it just so that you can be very empathetic towards them. So, for example, when we went on our walks, I had a puppy and I had Poshka, who at that time was still very young, and I had Brunella with me, and Brunella was the oldest. She started, to fall behind a little bit in how fast she could walk. So I would normally walk Brunella by herself, and the other 2 who were a bit more active apart from her. So, take into account that walks may start to take a little longer than before, or that they used to. The other thing is that they will start to ask you for your help. So in the case of Brunella, for example, at the beginning, she used to, jump onto the bed, jump onto the furniture by herself, and get off by herself as well. But as I told you, like at 2 o'clock in the morning, she'll be asking me to get her off the bed because she needed to pee. It was something that she couldn't do by herself anymore. And when she did try without telling me, she would fall, and she would, her little legs wouldn't be able to hold her weight anymore. So It's those little things that you need to take into account, and even start adapting your house for them. I actually did adapt my bed for that, but she never actually used that. I like put like a little box so she could get onto the box and then just jump off that. But she would never use the box. She would just straight up go to the bed. So we can do as much as we can to adapt our house, but sometimes they're going to reject that. So that's doggies for you. And the sixth and last thing that I would like you to be on the lookout for is their eyesight and their hearing. If you notice that your dog isn't responding to when you're calling them, or for example, one time it melted my heart as well when we were and in another place where I used to live, the door towards the street was like a complete glass door. Like it had nothing else that was noticeable. So we would sometimes walk at night, and at nighttime it was when her eyesight wasn't as good or worse than it was in the daytime, for obvious reasons. So I didn't know this yet, and we were just I was walking towards the door, and she didn't notice the door, and she just stumped her little snout onto the door. I'm like, what is going on? And then I was on the lookout, like she would like miss certain branches and stuff, so just start to be more conscious about that as your dog gets older. The hearing as well. I remember that Brunella, I started calling her and she wouldn't answer. So what I started to do was I started to whistle to her. So I would go, instead of saying Brunella or Bruno, calling her by name, I would have certain whistles when it was something good and when it was something bad. So if I can remember, I think the good one was like, or something like that. I'm gonna get misty. I miss her. And when she was like being naughty, it would be like, or something like that, a little bit on a lower register, but she would still like respond to that. Kisses to you, Brunella. So just adapting, and really seeing it as a part of their life, a part of a stage of their life, and enjoying it as much as you can. And and my last piece of advice to you would be to enjoy this moment with your pup. All scary things aside, I think that it's a very sweet, a very tender stage that they are going through, or that they are going to go through. And I think the best thing to do is to be there for them, to make them as comfortable as they can be, tend to their needs, tend to their health. Just enjoy, that senior moment of your puppy. Take all the pictures. Please take all the pictures. Take all the videos that you can. Savor each moment with them. And just be there for them. Really, really be there for them. Be present for them. And I assure you that your heart and your soul and your mind, and they especially, would be super grateful to you. So, and that's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you something useful to think about, something nice to think about. If it did, please give a like, a share, a subscribe, hit the little bell, and share with anyone who has a doggy senior citizen of the world around the house. Oh, thank you for watching. Take care and bye-bye.